Welcome to The Preferred List, a podcast about the people behind the best wedding days. I'm James, a wedding filmmaker. I've spent years in the industry working alongside incredible vendors, and this show is all about real conversations with the ones who make it happen. Whether you're a vendor or a couple, you'll get honest insight, good stories, and maybe a little inspiration along the way. Let's meet today's vendor. Hey, Ben, how's it going?
Yo, what's up? We didn't just sit here and chat about a ton of stuff before we got started.
We definitely did.
I mean, honestly, we could have had like a whole episode, pre-episode.
We basically did. This is really exciting because you guys don't know, but this is officially the first episode that I'm filming. And so I'm just glad to have you on.
Dude, should I like wear a cape just to make it more like cinematic and exciting?
Yes, definitely. So like I said in the intro, this podcast hopefully will give great insight on the amazing wedding vendors in the area. So we're based out of the Lancaster area, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And so jumping right in, tell me a little bit about how you got into the wedding industry and tell me a little bit about your business as well.
Yeah, I'm Ben Mon. Wayfinder Films is my business. Recently actually rebranded. So I'm just super excited for that evolution and just everything that entails. How did I get into this? Senior year of college, I was lost. I mean,
Most of us are.
I was like, what do I do? So I was literally, in my senior year back in 2020, and I loved video stuff. I started shooting videos in college, and like it was super fun for me. And because I was doing that actively, a friend asked me, hey, Ben, like I'm getting married. Do you want to make a wedding video for us? And I was like, heck yeah. So I accepted, and totally free of charge. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to research the heck out of this. Like, dude, I went down the YouTube rabbit hole and just like all the things. And I was like, okay, like what's the bare minimum that I need? Okay, I need 2 cameras. I need a lot of, anyways, I did my homework, did the thing. Some stuff I've never used since equipment-wise. But, like, I got ready mentally. Like, I really got ready for it. And then, honestly, like, I poured my heart and soul into that film. And it's, I think, compared to my stuff now, it's like, I don't want to rewatch it. But here's the thing. Like, I actually poured my heart and soul into that. And they loved it. And even though it was just, like, a favor for them, I actually thought to myself, okay, whoa, like, this is actually kind of cool. Like, a wedding is really fun. I get to play with my toys, my equipment. And it's something that they like that actually means something to somebody. And then actually what I did is I was like, okay, wait, there's other full-time wedding filmmakers. So what I essentially did in my senior year of college, because other opportunities weren't really panning out for me. Like right. I did an internship, this is a dead end, whatever. I literally went on the knot. I reached out to 15 Lancaster area wedding videographers being like, hey, I'm a noob. I want to shadow you for free. Is that possible? I mean, kind of cold calling, not good odds, right? But 3 people got back to me, and that fall, so after I had shot my friend's wedding, I second shot 5 weddings with people in the fall of 2020, and I also, again, for free, did 3 more weddings for friends.
That's awesome.
So in the course of 2020, I did 9 weddings, and it was like, oh, like this could actually be like a job. Alongside of this, while this was happening, I was working with a friend in his business in the construction world, and then literally, I've had a very slow kind of journey. It's 2025, and this is the year that I actually went full-time because the last like 4.5 years, literally, I kept doing that construction remodeling job part-time while doing weddings part-time because I really didn't know how to like grow it and gain the momentum to be full-time. And really, so like honestly, for me, I was nothing like an overnight success. I mean, 2020, I had those 5 weddings. Year after that, like a few weddings. Year after that, a few weddings. Very slow progress, but it gave me time to really learn and look at the kind of the landscape of so honestly, for me, going full-time, and this maybe is kind of headed a different direction, but it's been really fun and like a lot of learning, making the switch from, this is a hobby, this is fun, my videos are okay, I don't charge much, to switch and be like, no, like this is my thing, I'm a wedding filmmaker, it's my full-time business. And that kind of switch has been really fun and rewarding just over the last 12 months. And we can get into that, but that's kind of a nutshell.
Yeah, that's awesome. It is funny how I feel like a lot of vendors get their start in this idea of like it's just a fun thing, maybe for the camera side of vendors.
Yeah, we all started out as just a
right,
camera nerd.
you're just enjoying taking videos of stuff, or maybe for me, like I started in photography first and thought I was going to be a wedding photographer only.
I've never touched photography.
And it's just funny how you kind of like meander your way through, but there's a point where you're like, no, this is a business. I want to run it like a business. And you can start to see like real growth, almost more so as an entrepreneur, instead of just, some sort of like standalone, I'm just a wedding vendor kind of vibe. So it's cool to hear your journey kind of going through that kind of process. Did you learn a lot shooting with those other videographers?
Okay, so JK Film Co. That's Jensen and Katrina. Jensen and I became friends. We hit it off after shadowing 3 weddings with them. Like we hit it off as friends.
That's
and so
awesome.
I learned a lot from him because he's like a genius with technology. So I learned a lot of my technical skills from him, which built on my foundation of video editing and shooting that I gained from college. But like he was like, oh, like here's the right like tripod mounting plate and like a lot of this very technical stuff.
Yeah.
Really helped me out with the gear side of things. And I mean, I kind of learned a little bit from Katrina on the editing side of things, but honestly, I developed my taste in like, okay, what is a wedding film that I actually want to watch? Because from the very, very beginning, I was like, I want to watch this film. Like, I'm making this film. Yes, it's for the couple, but
Right.
like, I want to enjoy watching my own film. I would never want to make a film for somebody that I'm okay with. So I've refined my style and skill just by watching a ton of films. I'm constantly watching films. Actually, that's like almost a ritual for me. Like before I really dig deep into an edit, I watch some really amazing films to inspire myself. But those people really helped me when I was starting out, at least with the second shooting.
Yeah.
Give me some good groundwork.
It's just cool when you see other vendors in your same category willing to like pull you in, even though at some point, you could be considered competition, but they're still willing to show you what they know, show you the tricks of the trade, and give you the knowledge to do your own thing and kind of grow your own business. I feel like most vendors are kind of that community over competition, but it's cool to see it like actually play out and see you here like full time in 2025.
I'm a big fan of community over competition because I believe there's enough weddings happening.
Oh yeah,
and I believe that videography is something that people are growing. It's growing on them more because they're realizing, wait, wow, having a wedding film to relive re-experience your wedding day. Like I think it's a growing thing. So I don't think there's a lack of demand. I mean, statistically, there's 2 million weddings in
There's
the
a
US
lot.
last year.
For sure. What would you say? So it brings up an idea in my mind. I've had so many photographers tell me that like just a random number coming to my mind is like less than 50% of their couples are getting a videographer or have a videographer for like covering their day, creating a memory piece for them in a highlight film or a wedding film. What would you say if couples are like on the fence, thinking about a wedding film, not sure if it's worth it? What would be your sort of elevator pitch just in terms of value of having one to couples that are kind of on the fence there?
You can't hear your photos.
No offense. We love photographers. We love photographers. They're great.
You can't hear your photos. And so photos freeze a moment in time. A video, and I'm not saying one's better than the other, a video allows you to go back in time.
Yeah, they're just different.
And so if you want to have something that like is beautiful, wedding photos are going to be something that you're going to enjoy looking at, I think, the rest of your life. I mean, the image quality is just like, pow, it's amazing. But the film isn't even as much about like the image, the visuals, because it's a story. So a film, I think an amazing wedding film, it has to be authentic to the couple. Like this is like its whole own rabbit hole, but there's kind of a raging war between editorial and documentary styles where you are giving direction to the couple and they're doing what you tell them to do. And so it looks magnificent, polished, perfect. And then there's like completely like stuff that's not perfect. When I started out, I'm like trying to be as cinematic as possible. Perfect lighting, perfect composition, all this. I honestly I just changed over the last few years because I realized couples just talked to a bride today who is very keen on a home video style. So I've really the value is having a wedding film that reflects you. I mean, I remember one couple summer, a couple sent me a reaction video of their wedding film. And there's a moment where like he does like this silly like spin, goofy like me. And in the reaction video, he's like, "Oh, that's like so us." That was like a moment for me. I was like, that is exactly what like I want a film to do for a couple. It lets them see like how they really are. And a different bride shared with me that like her wedding film was an amazing reminder of the best version of herself, because like marriage is actually what's way more important than your wedding day. And the wedding film is a reminder of who you are. And so, I mean, there's the beauty of it, kind of the, wow, this is super cool. But it's also, I think there's the legacy value where this is going to be something you're going to watch again when you're old and in a wheelchair. You can actually still go back to that moment.
The accent you got on that was...
I used to be in a nursing home, so.
Is that how they talk? Old and in a wheelchair.
Oh, yes.
No, but you bring up a good point. Photo and video, and there's not one that's better than another. We might be a little biased as wedding filmmakers, a little bit.
Very biased.
But they just serve a different purpose, and the reliving the moments, seeing how you experience the day, and even just like pulling yourself back on the day. Those are the things that jump out to me in terms of like, if you're on the fence thinking about getting a videographer, I literally tell all of my couples that we meet with, like, if you don't go with us, that's totally fine, but please find someone that can do your wedding video and do the style that you like, because there are definitely different styles. There's nothing wrong with an editorial, cinematic, slow moving.
Art. There's no right or wrong.
But I think I'd probably be more along the lines of what you're talking about, more documentary, just showing the natural moments. Is there a moment in your journey as a wedding filmmaker that you felt like, this is what I was meant to do, at least for this season? I'm not saying you need to be a wedding filmmaker for the rest of your life, but like,
what if I want to be?
Maybe do it. I mean, was there a moment though that you're like, no, this is the job that I was designed to do? That is like, just such a good fit, personality or just career wise.
Last summer, I was actually sitting in the sunroom with my dad, and I've had this conversation before with my family, but like, I enjoyed my job doing remodeling a lot, and I've had a lot of other jobs. I worked as a nurse aide in a nursing home for a couple of years. I worked out on dairy farm as a dairy farmer for a few years. I worked at a retail chain selling stuff, and I was like managing there for a while, so retail. And then I also worked, the construction. Anyhow, I dabbled, right? And I realized those things weren't fulfilling for me. And so even though I make wedding films for couples, I was like, I want to do something that I love. And so anyway, I was sitting in the sunroof with my dad, and he's like, Ben, like, you like your job doing remodeling. It's a good skill. It's a good trade. It's always going to come in handy. Very safe.
It doesn't talk like that at all. I've talked to him like 5 times. He does not sound like that.
I'm stereotyping
the dad
what
voice.
People's opinion is of the construction industry.
Yeah,
it's like
for
a good job. But my dad was able to recognize, my parents have always been extremely supportive of everything I do. Very blessed for that. He was like, you are a creative person. You love filmmaking, and you've been doing both for like over 4 years.
Yeah.
Long term, do you want one more than the other? And I was like, dang, okay, if I had to choose, I would do videography. And so I kind of had an honest conversation with my boss at the time. Hey, look, I love wedding filmmaking. If I pursued this, like, they wouldn't be like, I'm just quitting, but it would kind of look like phasing out. And as an entrepreneur himself, he totally understood. And so that was like a key moment where I was like, I want to do this. Even going a bit deeper, can I keep going?
Yeah, go for it.
A girl asked me over like 2 years ago, okay, but what's your why? Why do you want to do this? That really stopped me in my tracks. I was like, oh, it's because it's a cool video and makes them happy. But then I really went deep on it. Read a book, Start with Why, start with Simon Sinek. And I realized, okay, you know what? The reason I like wedding filmmaking is because it aligns with a number of the things that matter deeply to me. I think marriage is sacred. I'm a believer in Jesus, and I believe just the beauty, the mystery, and the weight of significance that a marriage carries is something that I want to elevate. So that was one thing. I also realized, marriage is a foundation of people's lives. And there's so many times, I'm not married, but everyone goes through marital struggles. It's a journey for life. You're in it for life. And I realized, I mentioned this earlier, a wedding film is a reminder of who you kind of really want to be, because you're hearing your vows, you're remembering the kind of person you were.
Yeah.
So if you're going to actually have that for 50 more years, whatever,
Right.
like, I realize this is something that actually is going to mean a lot to people. Last thing I'll just say is I realized it's so fulfilling being my own boss, because I can essentially it's creatively fulfilling. I manage my time different. But ultimately, I don't want to live a life that's about me, that's self-serving. I think that a life best lived is serving others, but it's super convenient being able to control your life and your schedule and your money and all of it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like it's almost putting to light your comment earlier about them and their best selves, because they're showing up and they're saying, the things that they're committing to in their vows or in their letters that they might have for each other. In our case, as wedding filmmakers, we get to capture a lot of those moments. But a couple 25 years down the road that might be struggling in some way or another can look back and remind themselves of what they committed to and hear all those moments again, which would be, super special for those couples to relive those moments.
Can I share a hot take? Are we okay with the hot take?
I think we could do some hot takes. There's one though, not two. No,
okay, one hot take. We don't want to burn too many people. A wedding film isn't gonna be better than the wedding day, unless you're going for something that feels like a movie. But the truth is, I actually heard a wedding planner say just recently, she's like, honestly, 9 out of 10 weddings, there's not an abundance of emotion. It's honestly, there's a lot of stress and hubbub and activity. Let's do it. And when we get to the dance floor, we just let loose. Sure. But what's interesting is a wedding film, I think if it's done right, doesn't actually have to wow everyone. It doesn't need to go viral on Instagram. It doesn't have to be something that you just go, whoa, I'm impressed. I think
you have so many voices.
Sorry, I do. A wedding film, it's a hot take because I don't want to insult any people, but it's a wedding film, honestly, it's going to be as good as you make it. If there's a lot of depth in your relationship, I just filmed the wedding of a couple that on and off had a relationship over 8 years. There was a lot of hard moments, breaking up, some big heavy stuff that they had worked through. That showed on their wedding day. Their vows were intense because it was baby, we are here. They talked about some of the stuff they went through, their journey. So people get married for different reasons. My hot take is that it's not a production. The depth of your relationship, your love, your commitment to each other, how much that means to you, how valuable your marriage is to you, is actually what's going to make a wedding film an amazing wedding film. And so I actually don't try to make wedding films feel overproduced or something that the couple isn't.
Yeah. It fits with the documentary style, I feel like.
It's very much
you're just trying to show the couple and their natural. I mean, I know it's not super natural because it's a wedding day with all the hustle and bustle and everything going on. But
hey, if I was a bride, I'd wear a wedding dress every day, Kidding.
So your approach, is there a part of your approach, whether it's something vendor to vendor, the way you interact with vendors on a wedding day, or your approach in the journey that a couple might take from initially reaching out to the finished film? In your case, you're sending off films to couples. Is there a part of your approach that stands out, or that you feel like is different, or that you even just have, a little bit more intentionality in the way that you do things in your business?
I'm going to admit that it evolves, because I pay very close attention to what couples want and what the market and what the landscape of wedding filmmaking looks like. I'm researching all the time. And so my approach honestly has adapted a lot. But I'll say this. On a philosophical level, I want everything I do to honor and please God. And part of that is by doing my best work. it's not about me. I actually don't want to take people's money if they know that like somebody else could do the job better. So I want couples that work with me to know that like I want to put your needs first, your best interest, like your best interest is what I am prioritizing, which is why my style of filmmaking has adapted, because I want to give couples something that they're going to love, not just watch once. It's going to be unforgettable. So philosophically, it's service. It's serve oriented. And that's just because I believe serving other people and not making your life all about you selfishly, I think philosophically is something that I would aspire to. I think it's noble, honors God. In terms of the wedding day, you can hear it. I act silly. I'm an extrovert. As I think the young people say, yappers. I just honestly, I don't really think before I speak. So I'm very off the cuff when I'm filming a wedding. Now, I'm very respectful when there's moments for me to pull back because I never want to disrupt. But like, I'm not Mr. like, I'm in charge. I'm cool. I'm very serious. I'm the cinematographer. No, I just honestly, I'm like, hey, I'm here for the celebration. Let's have fun, be friends. And it's not just because I'm trying to be liked. I mean, I do want to be friends, but I actually want to alleviate some of the stress that just naturally comes with a wedding day. So because I can do camera stuff on autopilot, like I've done a gazillion weddings, like I don't have to like stare at my screen and like change settings all the time. I mean, I do that, but I can do it like bam, really fast. That way it actually allows me to read the room. If people are kind of like, honestly, like if there's not a ton of energy, like I'll balance myself out with that. If there is a lot of energy, I'll jump right in because I want people to be themselves. I want them to be comfortable. So I'm actually leading with, I am a human and I'm here to celebrate with you. Not I'm a videographer. I'm here to make something.
Yeah, so you're focused on connection I feel like giving space for the couple to just experience the wedding day is super valuable for them. And I feel like I'm hearing some of that in what you're saying is like you're just trying to get them to loosen up, be themselves, and just capture that as it's happening.
I'm very intentional with when I give some direction because they want to look good. They need some direction that doesn't feel just like forced. But I'm also more attuned to when to step back and kind of shut up, zip my lips. And actually, I mean, you'll catch me doing it all the time. I actually know that reactions and side conversations are happening, even though everyone's like, oh, here's the main thing. I am looking around and secretly turning my camera without turning my body and getting these very organic moments.
Yeah.
And those comprise so much of my films nowadays just because they feel so authentic.
Yeah. Well, they are. I mean, it's stuff that's actually happening. And nothing to say that you can't have a beautiful clip with a couple doing something epic or at an epic spot. But it sounds like your films, you're focused more in on those in-between side moments that maybe the couple doesn't even notice is happening, but they're able to see that in their films.
Yeah, I mean, cocktail hour is a great example. You've got like this hour or so after your ceremony. Guests are greeting each other. Some really fun social interactions happening. Boom, like I'm capturing that and I'm zooming in so that I'm not in their face. They don't even know what's happening. But we're also with the couple in the bridal party. Once the photos are done and there's like a little bit of time to do some fun stuff with them. Again, maybe we're giving some direction, but I'm not going to stop rolling because often it's like when they don't think that we're still capturing stuff, something funny happens where they just express themselves. And so I come home with so much footage that I don't use just because I know that those moments are happening when they're not asking for attention.
Yeah. And if you're not filming that extra 5 seconds or 10 seconds, you might miss it.
Oh, dude, when I hit stop recording and then something happens, I'm like, dang it. Never stop recording.
Never stop recording. Well, do stop because that's storage, but
nah, I've got unlimited storage.
You need to send some my way because I'm running out. Okay. You're obviously in the wedding industry. There's trends that have come and gone. Are there specifically wedding filmmaking trends that you're loving right now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you finish that thought?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I own a Super 8 camera and I love using that. Not every couple goes with it.
Oh, you're cool.
Because okay, look, I realized you can fake Super 8 very well. There's tools to
Yeah.
fake it very well. But I was
Use
like,
Resolve.
yep, Dancer Pro, man, it's an amazing plugin. But Super 8 is a vibe of its own because it's super low quality, but it's like nostalgic as all get out.
Give us an explanation if couples are listening or vendors are listening and they're like, what is Super 8?
Super 8 is a style of user-friendly or like home video cameras that came out in like the 60s, 70s, 80s that shoot real film. And so they're like a very basic camera. Now they're very scarce, but you can buy them, and there's a few labs in the United States that like still develop Super 8. So you can literally, typically, you have to get a cartridge of film. It's 50 feet long, and it shoots only 3 minutes of when it's done, 3 minutes of video. But it has this very vintage look. You've got all these like light leaks, artifacts, color distortions, film grain, kind of like if you, the way it's scanned, if you include like the actual film strip and this sprocket hole, it looks extremely vintage, and it's real stuff because it's actually something that was a huge popular thing back in the 60s and 70s. So I shoot with a digital camera and a real film camera that I have to send off and get developed, and then I mix the two mediums in a finished film.
Are a lot of your couples, I'm assuming it's an add-on service, are a lot of your couples adding that on?
Because I've been showing more Super 8, a lot of people mention it. Not everyone goes with it. Right now, I might say like maybe 2 out of 3 of my couples go with it. But that could change.
What would you say is like a benefit for having a couple having that optional add-on added in their wedding film?
It's best for couples that like stuff that feels nostalgic and candid, because there's nothing high quality about Super 8. It makes you feel like you're a kid again. It makes you feel like you're going back in time. And so it's something that I believe is going to age well because it just feels so unforced, unproduced. So it's kind of a look, and obviously it's fun for me physically shooting both, dude, like ripping open that little film canister and clicking it in, and then it just films. Oh my word, it's a feeling, but I think couples love the vibe.
Yeah, that's a great sound effect too. Are there trends that you're like that can just be not a thing anymore in wedding videography?
This is gonna crush a few hearts.
Is it gonna crush mine?
Nah,
Maybe.
because
Because
I think weddings are really about the people.
yeah.
I personally, Ben Mon, I'm not crazy about like all the details, the
Okay.
glory, the glamour, the glitz, like flowers, plates, napkins. Here's the thing. You can make it super beautiful, and I've been to super beautiful weddings that were stressful and like their day went fine, and that can work, and that's okay, and that's true to them. There's no shame, there's no judgment. But like using too many details in a film that don't actually tell the couple's story is a trend that I'm like, well, the details are pretty, but what's going to be something that is going to make this couple go, wow, that's us in 30 years? I don't know if it's the bouquets or those things. I think it's seeing your people. So when I use detail shots in a film, because I capture all of it, I usually just kind of like show some quick snapshots. The stuff I linger on is those very candid moments. So
It's probably definitely a little bit of a hot take, I would say. Not for everyone, but
like, here's my least favorite detail: the hanging dress. Why do I not care about the hanging dress? Because that dress was meant to be worn. It's static. It might be a cool photo, but I mean, are we selling a wedding dress here? So the dress, that's like my stereotypical, like, if I don't shoot the hanging dress, I don't care. But
so you can expect in your films, if couples are listening in, like wanting to know what your films are about, you're way more focused on people than details, but you're still capturing it all.
I'm going to capture everything, and I'm going to listen to couples when we sit down and chat a little before their wedding to know, like, okay, what are the things that really matter to you? Because, like, I mean, this one groom, his boutonniere had a bullet from his grandpa's World War II rifle. And, like,
That's
I mean, I got a
awesome.
close-up shot of that, and, like, his mom pins it on. It's like,
So he's saying that's important to me. You're listening in to what the couples are talking about and applying that sort of to your edit, even if you might not have put that many details in. If a couple's wanting it, you're more than willing to kind of accommodate for that.
at this stage of my wedding filmmaking, the kind of weddings I'm going to are people focused. And so the film is very people centric, story driven. But when there's a lot of elaborate thought that goes into putting it together, I'm going to gauge where that couple's at and make sure I capture for them. But truthfully, it's just because I'm a social creature and I love seeing real emotion as much as I can. Those just always trump the detail shots that I have. And so I usually just squish them in a little part of the film or scatter it.
So you're still showing it. I feel like that's probably, you're not maybe taking quite as much of a hot take if you're still showing it. So when I feel like a lot of what we do as wedding vendors is working alongside other vendors.
I had one more trend question.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Trend I'm loving
Okay.
is retro music. So, I mean, cinematic music that's dramatic. That's cool. I mean, I listen to it on my runs, gets me going. But, or like piano acoustic music. I mean, it works really well because it's a wedding film. But I've been seeing tons of wedding films, especially wedding teasers, that are using songs from the 90s, 80s, 60s, 20s. I just went down a rabbit hole the other day on archives.org looking for like old vintage songs that I could use, because those songs are just a throwback that make you feel like you're going back in time. So I am loving kind of the shift in more like non-traditional music.
Yeah, that's cool. So when you're on a wedding day, we're constantly working together with other vendors. I'd say probably more so photographers throughout the wedding day. But I'm just curious how, if there's a curveball that is thrown at you, the team, I guess, how are you kind of taking on that maybe change, or maybe we're late on the timeline side of things? What's your perspective to help the couple get through whatever that curveball might be?
It helps for sure when you have a coordinator or a planner, because they're going to take care of so much of that. And so I can actually bat those problems to them on a wedding day. But there's weddings that don't have planners.
I mean, sometimes they even already are on it.
They're on it.
Yeah, the
I
good
mean, that's why
ones,
they're so good at their jobs. You know, when you're at a wedding with a planner, like they are actually hustling all day long. But you're right. Sometimes you're like, oh, the timeline. I have sort of discovered, and I'm just a lowly wedding filmmaker, but the two things in the day that seem less movable, and I'm saying only two things, is the start of the ceremony and actually when the catering gets served, because it's like food and they have to prepare it and it has to be hot. Everything else I think is subjective. So when we get behind, I mean, I am gauging, well, okay, is it going to stress them out that we're behind? But like, I'm going to figure out, okay, is there a way we can save time? Because I used to not care about timelines. I just be like, oh, I'm fully documentary. Like I'm here, I'm the fly on the wall. I'm just
no
watching
input
as it unfolds.
Yeah.
But I realized people actually want an expert who has done this so many times to be like, well, here's what we could do. And so I very much pay attention to the timeline, but I also like know how much time things will take. And so I can be like, hey, like we're still going to capture stuff. Like you don't need to worry about it. I actually, as much as I can, withhold information from brides. It's going to stress them out. I used to ask more questions. Hey, do you like this? Do you want to do this? Okay, what do you think of this? Actually, they actually feel a lot more at ease when you as a vendor can say, hey, let's do this. And they're like, oh, okay. Like this is actually going to help us stay on time, have fun, instead of making it their job to like figure out how to like make things work or do something that's going to be fun.
I feel like if you're a couple and you're finding vendors that you can place your trust into, I mean, like we talk to couples all the time, and one of the things I say is like, if you like our films, if you could see us being there on your wedding day, and all of that checks out, like style and everything, then we're good to go. If you're finding that person in terms of what our category as wedding filmmakers, if they're seeing that your style is what they want, they're seeing that your personality is what they could envision walking through the wedding day, because as you know, we're there for all of the things throughout the entire day. If they could put their trust into you, knowing that you have the experience, you are the pro, and then they just don't have to worry about it. You can make all those decisions like you're saying and just run with it, and they know that they're going to get an amazing film at the end of it because they've put their trust into you as the professional.
When I've seen amazing films and I'm like, well, how'd they get the shot? Well, it just happened, right? It just unfolded before them. All they had to do was hit record. I realized, no, actually there was a lot of communication. There was like facilitating what needs to happen to like be there, right time, all the things to make something happen, whether it's those beautiful moments or those organic moments. I've actually, like, I sit down and I think through, okay, how are we gonna, I have a vision in my head because I know the kind of film I want to make. And so when I'm showing up on a wedding day, I'm kind of looking for, without interjecting myself, it sounds like I'm taking too much control of a wedding day. I'm just saying I go into a wedding day having a very clear vision of what this I'm going to capture that they're going to love. And so I'm making sure that I'm kind of anticipating the next thing. Maybe that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm very much anticipating what's about to happen so that I don't miss anything.
Yeah, I love that. When you're, it's kind of a twofold question here. As a wedding filmmaker, you work alongside photographers. Sometimes we get to work with photographers we've worked with before, and we know the style is going to go super well with the way that we capture things. Sometimes we work with new photographers. We have no idea exactly how that like give and take is going to work. What would you say, in your perspective, how can wedding filmmakers and wedding photographers do a better job at serving the couple and still staying true to the style and the kind of, like you're saying, you're going to a wedding day and you have an idea of what you want to capture. How can we stay true to that, but also still serve the couple to the best of our ability?
I always start the day not as a filmmaker, but I greet people and I make sure to like establish, hey, what's up? How's it going? Did you get your coffee? And so I start off on that footing. I want a photographer to know, hey, we're a team. And there is a lot of parts of the day which are more important for photo than for video. And so I know what those parts are for them. And so I'll step back and let them do it. But there's something that I do that I don't know if all videographers do this. Sometimes a videographer will let a photographer carry all the responsibility in guiding kind of the events of the day and the couple and telling them what to do. Honestly, I actually feel like I could capture a whole wedding day without the help of a photographer because I know like how it's going to unfold and what's going to look amazing in front of my camera. And so I've actually had a lot of photographers express appreciation because I show up like with a creative idea. So a lot of times during like a couple session, I'm throwing stuff out there and it looks amazing because anything that looks good for video is definitely going to look good for photo as well. Yeah. And so I've actually like supplied just my creativity. And it is also really fun when you actually show an interest in them as a person. So when we're not like capturing something and it requires all of our attention, I just want to be friendly and like see how they're doing. I ask that all the time. Like, hey, how we doing? Because I understand the stress that they could be feeling. And I actually would like to say, hey, look, I feel competent. I'm happy to like step in and help lead things if you're just like, if it's hard for you to kind of multitask. Okay, wait, I'm shooting, but I'm also trying to like keep people on track.
Yeah, what's been the reception for, if there's wedding filmmakers or photographers that are listening in on this, what's been the reception when you do start to kind of jump in or add some ideas to maybe the couple session or throughout the wedding day? Because there is really, if there's not a planner, the photographer is essentially the planner in a lot of ways, right?
I wonder if they love or hate that. I'm going to say 9 out of 10 don't love it.
Probably not. I probably would assume that they would want a planner. But when you are jumping in, I know you've kind of set the groundwork for some relational equity at the beginning of the day. Like, hey, we're here, we're a team. we do a lot of the same thing. But when you are jumping in, does it feel like at that point, because you've set it up well, they're just like receptive, or like what's been the kind of the feedback that you've gotten?
I generally don't do anything without doing a temp check, seeing, is this okay? Is this okay?
Do you like
Hey,
this?
can I? I'm asking permission. I actually do that all the time because I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I'm like, hey, is it all right if I? And I don't want to like just interject. Like
Yeah.
I'm especially during capturing things throughout all parts of the day. I'm like, oh, hey, could we do this? Because I actually am asking for their permission to make sure that I'm not overstepping them. And if I sense, and it's happened, if I sense that, oh, I'm doing this and they're not capturing something because I'm doing something that only works for video, I actually I shift my attention to them and go, oh, like, all right, let's keep rolling, because I want them to capture as much as they need to as well.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're really in tune with kind of like you said, the temperature is if you're jumping in and they're all for it, then that's kind of like a sort of unspoken green light for you. If you're jumping in and they're like, oh, that's not really what I was looking for, and you're still getting what you need. I feel like it's you're trying to stay true to your style and everything, but also we have a lot of people that we end up working with throughout the wedding day to make it go smoothly, and for the couple to basically not experience any sort of like hiccups. There might be like hiccups on hiccups, but we just want them to stay present because that makes a better wedding film. Would you agree?
Oh, you can see on people's faces, people on the wedding day are reacting to us in some degree or measure. So if the photographer and I are having a good time, then they're going to look way better on camera because they're going to mirror us. We're actually setting the temperature of the room. We're the thermostat. And so if we are having a good time, it seems to be reciprocal. And honestly, I don't know if this is a weird thing about my personality, but sometimes if somebody's being really serious, I'll kind of crank up my silliness gauge. Or if somebody else is very much engaged with interacting with people, I'll kind of pull it back because I don't want to be there to be a power play.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Shifting gears a little bit, to just spend a little bit of time on the business ownership of your wedding filmmaking business. If you had, like kind of look back over the years that you've been doing, what the wedding filmmaking, that you've done, is there something that's like helped you? You feel like it's helped you grow the most? I mean, you can think of it creatively, but also as a business.
Something that really helps me stay on top of things as a creative filmmaker as well as a freelancer, a business owner, is actually by like seeing and hearing what others are up to. I listen to so many podcasts just so that I can hear what other wedding filmmakers are chatting about. There's Facebook groups where people ask questions all the time. I'm reading those forums. Obviously, I have the people I look up to who make amazing wedding films. And so I'm watching and very much paying attention to exactly how they're making films. And so really all I'm trying to do is be very attuned to what the landscape of the industry looks like. I didn't actually want to pick up a Super 8 camera, but I realized so many couples love it. So if I can give them one more thing that they're going to love, I can shoot with 2 cameras on a wedding day. Or if couples are loving retro music, I'm going to try to find more retro music to use in my films. If couples are liking a documentary style that just means less posing on a wedding day, I'm going to try to figure out how to capture those moments that they do want. And there are couples that have a very specific vision. And so I kind of go deep when we sit down and plan. I do think that this is an evolving industry. And so just honestly, by constantly listening to what other photographers, filmmakers, planners are doing, what their opinions are, I'm actually kind of figuring out where I fall in the lineup of things, because I don't think there is a right and wrong. It's just we're just serving couples,
Yeah.
and it takes a different shape with every business. And so because I want to be serving couples as well as I can be, that's why I pretty much have like a regular ingest of just what's the state of the industry look like.
Yeah, and it probably helps. I mean, it seems like it's helping shift your perspective to, like you said, serve your couples better. Um, if a couple is interested in having a wedding film created by you, what's the process look like? What do they do first? What happens next?
Yeah, because every couple and every wedding day looks different, in order to figure out like what they're gonna love the most, the initial step is just hopping on a call with them face to face over Zoom after they inquire. Some people are a little turned off like that from that, but it actually is in their best interest because it allows you to express, this is what I want, this is what I don't want.
Mm-hmm.
And I can really listen and dial in and say, I think I could do that for you, or I think I can't.
Yeah, which is super important.
And so, yeah, after they hit me up through my website, I'm just trying to hop on a call with them. And before we actually hop on that call, I make sure I ask what like they're into, and I send a few example films that line up with what they're into so that they can have some proof before chatting face to face that I can make something that they're going to like. And then if that all works out and they book with me, I realized I actually don't need to overload them with too many things. Pretty much all I do is I reach out with hey, let's set up a meeting about like 6 to 4 weeks before their wedding day, and we jump on another planning call just to break down their timeline. I used to do questionnaires. I know it's very common, but I realized I actually can gather a lot of that information just by jumping on that planning call a few weeks before their wedding. So really from the time of booking to their wedding day, we just have one phone conversation. And of course, I mean, sometimes I get texts or messages on Instagram and I
Yeah.
respond to all of those. I mean, I love it when they engage with me that way.
Yeah, but there's a lot of other people that are pulling the attention of couples, especially if they have a planner, putting stuff together for them, photographers, engagement sessions, and also maybe doing the timeline. I feel the same way. Like we don't need to be, as wedding filmmakers, necessarily need to be the ones that are like adding more, unless a couple is really wanting more touch points. I'm right in line with kind of what your
I actually think
process
less
is.
touch points is serving their best interest because I used to think, oh, well, if I'm the professional, let me just like throw all this information at them. What do you like this? Okay, well, and I collect maybe I should have 2 questionnaires. And do you guys actually want to do this? And I have this add-on, like you didn't buy this. Do you want to buy that? All this information I'm throwing at them, but I was like, you know what? I actually think they're gonna have a better experience with me if we have very clear communication up front when they book what it's going to look like. Hey, I'm pretty much hands off until we have a planning call where we cover everything we need to know,
Mm-hmm.
and any information I can collect from your photographer or planner or venue, I'll make sure I do that so that I actually do not add to your plate. So it's very minimalist, but I think it serves their best interest.
And then are you, obviously you're delivering a highlight film. Are there more films that you put together for couples?
I used to like come up with my own version of packages and like, oh, I can create this, I could create this. Anymore, on that initial discovery call, I just hear what they want and I put it together in a custom collection for them to have. So, extra edits outside of a wedding film look like seeing your full ceremony cut together with multiple angles, your full speeches cut together multiple angles, sometimes specific moments by request.
Mm.
I put together something called a FOMO edit, which is essentially all of your raw footage compiled into one crazy long video minus a few shots that I just accidentally took, which is like pure documentary. Like this could be like a 5-hour watch.
Yeah, just every clip.
Something I haven't done, but I have brainstormed doing is doing like a story session with a couple outside of a wedding day where we get together. We do
Mm-hmm.
essentially a very casual kind of like Friday night jeans sort of deal, and like just capture them in an element or a space that they're very comfortable in that reflects their day-to-day life. Story sessions are something that I want to expand into and incorporate into wedding filmmaking so that it actually reflects more of who they really are, not just what we see on the wedding day. That's something I am exploring right now.
Yeah, no, I love that idea. I've only been a part of one of them. It was not for my own business, but it was definitely fun. Tell me a little bit. Is there a dream destination that you have to film a wedding at, or something that you are dreaming up? That's far away.
Destination weddings have a certain allure for those who like to travel, and I grew up traveling a lot. And so I want to do more destination work, which actually has its pros and cons. A heck of a lot of planning,
Oh, for sure.
a lot of stress. I mean, so I just had the fortune of doing my first destination wedding in Italy, countryside in Tuscany, with an amazing couple. It was an amazing day, literally everything you could dream of, and I cannot wait to dive into their film. And it was super exciting, and I learned a lot from it because I realized, oh, like this actually requires a lot of time and thought to kind of pulling it together, because traveling has its own complications. But it's really exciting because there's something deeply fulfilling for me to go new places.
Mm-hmm.
It's also really fun expanding like my horizons as a business, because honestly, a lot of these places just have a very unique look, and the people are different there, and like the people you'll meet that are from other places in the States, in the world, just have a different unique story. And because I just love people and I love seeing the world, it's very fulfilling for me to have the chance to do more destination and travel work. So a specific place that I definitely want to go is Iceland. And maybe it's like everybody wants to go to Iceland, but there's something so cool about it that I'm probably just going to go there on my own time, get a model couple, shoot something that looks amazing, and then use that, because I am kind of manifesting my inner artist a little bit in my work. I mean, I'm making a film that the couple's going to love, but
Mm-hmm.
my creative energy is like, well, what if I could create this? What if I could create this? So actually, I'm going to go after creating those things on my own and see if it's something that couples would actually like. Like I did my first like story session or two just for free for the couple because I could tell they were a good fit. And then honestly, like just picking up my camera sometimes and like doing something for fun that's not for work. I've shot a couple of videos like that, or they're still waiting to get edited. But literally, I've shot some creative videos that like I just want to make something cool, because at the end of the day, I'm actually going to serve couples best by being inspired by what I can create with my camera.
It is interesting too because you do, as a wedding creative, if you are trying to branch out into something different, you do have to show that stuff. If you want to be a destination filmmaker or a photographer, you have to show destination work or a mixture, right? You're not just going to like be booking local stuff and then all of a sudden, oh, and now I'm a destination filmmaker and I go to Iceland every other weekend. Um, Destination stuff would not work for me. Family with two kids would be very difficult, but I do definitely understand the allure. Is there another spot besides Iceland that you're like, you would go there in a heartbeat?
Well, the next one is going to be Mexico.
Yeah. All right. Iceland or Mexico, get this guy there. He will film your wedding. It'll be a great story.
Yeah, if you pay for my travel, I'm there.
Okay. You
Y
heard it.
también yo estoy bilingüe. I can speak Spanish down there if you take me to Mexico.
Are there any fun, exciting, upcoming projects, things that you're working on?
Well, I'm definitely excited to edit my first destination wedding film, because it wasn't just because, oh, it looks cool because it's Italy. I literally, that was like a 14-hour wedding day, and there was so much just authentic moments that just unfolded because it was a very intentional group of people. A lot of thought went into putting that all together. And so,
Mm-hmm.
like, I just have some gold that I feel like is going to resonates with me, the kind of film that I want to create, because it's people being people, making memories. It's not about a video. It's not about a production. It's not about impressing anybody with how glorious your event feels. It was just like making real memories. I loved every second of it. Like I put my camera down and just like soaked it in.
Yeah.
Outside of wedding films, I've shot a couple videos of me filming myself when I was in Colorado and Texas, just on a trip for fun. And those videos are essentially just expressing some of the thoughts that I have going through my head. And I actually read some verses out of the Bible that were important to me at the time. And so putting it together with like a video that's kind of just creating something inspiring, it has nothing to do with weddings, but it's like, it's a little creative outlet for me, because I mean, I reflect myself in my work. Inevitably, I can't even help it.
Yeah.
And so having some of those side projects that I'm working on, and I know for sure when I find the right couples, I'm going to offer some story sessions, be like, hey, like, do you want to just set something up? It's like just low key, like I'll be a third wheel. Like you two are just going to have a lot of fun and I'll give some direction, but let's just like spend a day with you in your life on like something fun. So those are all things I'm dreaming about. I have no end of ideas.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you being the inaugural guest for this podcast, and kind of stepping into the unknown, because this is all new for me too. So I appreciate you being on. Where can people find your work or follow along?
They just follow the sound of my deep voice.
Right
I've always
over-
been told I have a great radio voice. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. Wayfinder Films Co. is my Instagram, and wayfinderfilms.co is my website. You can check it out there, and if you send me a message, I will happily respond in 2 minutes.
Well, you make some amazing wedding films, and I appreciate all of your insight. I hope everyone, got a ton of value from this podcast, whether you're a vendor or a couple planning your wedding. That's it for this episode. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll catch you the next time on the Preferred List.